Okay, so now I'm going to talk about surprise methods. Just want to get rid of that. Okay. So this is the introduction. It doesn't say introduction, but what I'm going to talk about today is just what is surprise and what does that mean? Some prerequisites maybe for ring surprise. I'm going to mainly talk about Cambridge to surprise minor, because I think that's probably a good introduction. Ringing surprise minor, there's not really any tips, so we could go through this for any method, but Cambridge is generally the one that people are introduced to first. We'll talk about the lead ends and some rules and tips, and then I'll briefly touch on some more methods if there's time. Okay, so you might have heard people talk about surprise method ringing, but ringing is full of meaningless jargon, and so this word surprise is one of those. So all it means is it's a certain classification of a type of method. The Central Council of Bell Ringers, if you follow this link down here, has a number of rules and regulations that they now call the framework. And in that, they say that a surprise method is a treble dodging method, which means that the treble is treble dodging all the time, as James just discussed in the last video. And in which one or more bells makes an internal place at every cross section. So even the Central Council, when they're trying to talk about methods without introducing jargon, talk about internal places and cross sections. Now, what the hell are they? So okay, let's talk about the cross section first. So they actually, this diagram is directly from the Central Council framework. We do kind of, but so a cross section is the bit between the dodges. If you look at where the treble is dodging, the cross section is when moving between dodging positions. It's moving between the 1-2 position here and the 3-4 position here, and then from the 3-4 to the 5-6. It's there. So it's this point here between the dodges. And if it's surprise, all that means that an internal place. So if you look at the 4 here, it's making a place inside, so not in 1, 2, or 5, 6, but in 3, 4 here, and it's making a place here. And that's it. So there are related methods. So treble bob means that you're ringing plain hunt at these cross sections, so there won't be a place here or here. And delight means anything that's not covered by treble bob or surprise, which means that generally speaking, there's a place here, but not one here, or no place here, but a place here. So what does it mean in practice? Absolutely nothing. It's just a way of saying that the treble is treble bob hunting, and you could replace surprise with treble bob or delight, but that's pretty much all it means. And so just a nice word. Okay, so that's what surprise is. Now these aren't necessarily written in stone, but I think before you jump into surprise ringing, there are some things you should be able to do before that. Okay, sorry. So one of the prerequisites is that you should be able to treble bob hunt. So as James was talking about in the last video, there it's a really good framework for ringing, and given the bell control that this treble bob hunt pattern gives you, that'll help you with your method ringing of ringing on ringing surprise methods. But also treble bob hunt is the framework for surprise and treble bob methods. So you should be able to ring the treble to the methods you can ring inside to, and so that's why treble bob hunt is a good method, a good prerequisite. Some other things that are useful are double dodging or dodging more than once in a place. So there are some really good plane methods, so such as double Oxford Bob minor, where you get to practice dodging, in this case, 3 times on the front. But there are also doubles methods where you can dodge 2 or 3 times on the front. For minor, it's also sometimes good to be able to make places. As we saw on the last slide, making places is a integral part to a surprise method. You have to be able to make a place in the middle of the change. So again, double Oxford minor is a good method that is plain. So it's not a simple plain method, but it's a plain method, and it has these internal places like fourths and thirds, and you're even dodging in the middle there as well. So on the whole, I think double Oxford Bob minor is a good method to learn before moving on to surprise. Yep, and as James has mentioned, Kent treble bob, it's another stepping stone. You're ringing twice as many changes, and the bells are moving quite a lot more. So that's what I think the prerequisites are. Other people might have other suggestions. Okay, so moving on. This is the line for Cambridge. This is Cambridge surprise minor. And what we're going to do now is basically dissect it into its lead ends, and we'll learn each lead end individually. Okay. But why are we talking about Cambridge in particular? Well, I think it's the most common surprise method rung. It's definitely the most common first surprise method, for better or worse. It's generally people's introduction to more advanced ringing, kind of advanced in quotations there. But it is too complex to learn as a single string of words. So we can't, if we just go back, if we're ringing plain hunt, we might, or if we're learning treble bob, say, we might learn the places. We might go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. Now that's completely impractical if you're starting to learn a method like this. You can learn from the 6 and go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. It just gets too complicated too quickly. So we need to have a new method of learning it, and that's where we break it up into the lead ends. So that's where each bell starts in the method, and we learn these individually. And there are more advantages to this than just learning it. It makes bobs and singles easier. We don't have to look up where we start, so we can ring it from any bell. So if we don't have to just learn it from the 3. If someone says, oh, you're ringing the 5 today because so-and-so needs to ring the 3, you don't have to look up where to start. You can just, face-to-face bell, that's where you start. And it also makes sense if perhaps you go wrong or someone else is going wrong and someone standing behind you gently says in your ear, you'll become fifth place bell at the backstroke. If you don't know what fifth place bell is, then it's hard for you to get back right. And the whole thing could go belly up. All right, so let's break it down. So the first lead we're going to learn is second place bell. I think this is my favorite. So it contains the Cambridge front work, and this is a set of places and dodges that go together, and we can learn them as a block. So the Cambridge front work is this. I just go to my laser. This part here. On the front, it's all dodging and places in 1, 2, in the 1, 2 position. So we start with a dodge. That's with the treble, because it kind of has to be, because we're on the front for a second space bell. So we dodge with the treble, and then we lead, which is kind of the only thing we can do. We couldn't go here because there'd be no space for another bell to come. So already we're stuck with this dodge and lead. That's kind of intrinsic to all treble bob hunting methods. And then we make seconds, then we dodge, lead, and dodge. So this dodge, lead, dodge part that we see is identical to the what the treble's doing, right? So the treble, when it comes down here, it does a dodge, lead, and a dodge, and goes back out. So what the second does is it does a dodge, lead in seconds, and then this dodge, lead, dodge, which you can kind of think of as like a treble bobbing on the front. So, but when I learned this, I didn't think about that. I just learned dodge, lead, seconds, dodge, lead, dodge. DLS, DLD, dodge, lead, seconds, dodge, lead, dodge. It just learn that by rote, and when you get to it, you can bring it forwards, you can bring it backwards. It'll be good. So once we've done this front work, we then plain hunt out to the back. So we're all familiar with plain hunt. And we get to the back into 5-6. We do this double dodge, 5-6 up, lie, and then dodge. Okay, so this dodge here, we always dodge at the lead end. So this last dodge at the end, we always dodge. And we'll see that when we do other, when we look at other lead ends, other leads, unless we're making seconds, but we always dodge. Okay, so dodge, lead, seconds, dodge, lead, dodge, plain hunt, double dodge, 5-6 up, and then lie and dodge, 5-6 down, becomes a 6-space bell. So let's look at 6-space bell. So 6-space bell starts by plain hunting down to the front. We then lead. So this bell here is basically all plain hunt. We then do a dodge. You'll notice that the second has made the second space bell has made the seconds over us when we're leading, and then has to dodge with us. So this lead and dodge is with the same bell. And then once we've done that, we then move into 3-4, and you can see the rest of our work is all in 3-4. So we don't move out of 3-4. Yeah, and we call all this work in 3-4. These are called Cambridge places. And those are, well, we do a 3-4 up dodge, we make fourths, we make thirds, we do a 3-4 up dodge, we make fourths, we make thirds, we do a 3-4 up dodge. Okay, and again, like the front work, it's handy just to memorize that block of work as one thing. So it's dodge, place, place, dodge, place, place, dodge. You can think of the dodges as in terms of near and far. Sorry, the places we can think of as in terms of near and far. So instead of thinking of fourths and thirds, we can think of as far, near. So we dodge 3-4 up. We do a far, which is our fourth. Then we do a near place, which is our thirds. So it's far because we're coming from the front, and this one's the furthest from the front, and then this one's the nearest to the front. And then we repeat that: dodge, far, near, and then dodge. And that's handy if we're going backwards, as we'll see in 2 places time. So after we've done our Cambridge places, we have this dodge at the lead end. Like I said, we always dodge at the lead end. And after we've done that dodge, kind of halfway through this dodge, we become third space bell, which is here. So let's look at third space bell. Okay, so there's a lot of words on this slide. But so ignore the words and just look at the line. It's firstly, we can see that it's symmetrical. So if we were to place, we've got a line here. This is the half lead. So this is when the treble is lying in 6. The third place is, if you like, it's got mirror symmetry about this line. So it's the same forward as it's backwards. But the other thing to notice about third space bell is that it pretty much all happens at the back in 5-6. So apart from this plain hunting to get to the back, and this plain hunting and dodging at the lead end to get back down, it's all in 5-6. So we get it there, we do a 5-6 double dodge up, we then lie, we dodge with the treble, we make fifths below the treble, and then dodge up when the treble's dodging down, and then we lie. So this is the inverse of what the treble does. So we do lie, dodge, fifths, dodge, lie, fifths. Now we do a double dodge and then down. Down to our 3/4 dodge here. And again, this dodge is over the lead end. We dodge to become 4th space bell. Okay, so now from this point on, we're kind of bringing the method backwards from where we were before. So we start with the Cambridge, 4th space bell starts with the Cambridge places. And you'll see that it looks like there's not a dodge here. That's why I put it in gray. This dodge is kind of continued on from 3rd space bell. And so it's not shown here, but there is a dodge here that you've done right at the end of 3rd space bell. So 4th space bell is halfway through that dodge. You do fourths, you do thirds, fourths, dodge with the treble, 3/4 down, fourths, thirds, fourths, and then dodge 3/4 down. And again, before I said it was handy to think of those fourths and thirds as far and near. So in this case, we're going down. So we're coming off from the back, and the first place is the far position. So in this case, we're coming down, so it's our relative position is from the back. So it's far, near, dodge, far, near, dodge. And so in that respect, the places going up and the places going down are identical, but in reality they're the wrong round. So if you think of it as fourths and thirds, you've got to remember to flip that. As you can see, I forgot to do that here. It's thirds and fourths. So yeah. Okay, so after we've done these Cambridge places, we then dodge and then lead. And then, as we're going to see, the 5th space bell is doing the inverse of what the 2nd space bell is. So in 6th space bell over here, and you can see the 6th lead and dodge with the 2. In this case, 4th space bell does the opposite with the 5. So it dodges, then leads. I always just remember that these dodges go together and this plain hunting goes with this lead, but it's a bit clunky. So you just got to learn that you do your places, then it's dodge and lead. And then you plain hunt out the back and you do a dodge and become 5th space bell. Okay, so 5th space bell is the opposite of 2nd space bell. And it's the last lead end we have to learn. So it starts by lying at the back, then double dodging down. We plain hunt down to the front, and then the rest of our work is on the front, and it's the reverse of the start of 2nd space bell. So 2nd space bell was dodge, lead, seconds, dodge, lead, dodge, whereas the front work for 5th space bell is the opposite of that. So it's dodge, lead, dodge, seconds, lead, dodge. So again, it's just learning that this section here as one block, dodge, lead, seconds, dodge, lead, dodge, seconds, lead, dodge, and then yeah, keeping that in memory. And then at the end, this is the exception. So I said before that we always dodge at the lead end. 5th space bell is the only bell that one makes. You can see the treble's leading at the lead end. All the bells here are dodging, so the seconds, the bell that's in 2nd space, which is 1st space, has to make seconds here. So we've got 2nd space bell, and that's the end of the method. Yeah. Okay. So are there any questions so far? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so some rules and some tips. So first of all, it's all right. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that all of our up dodges. So if you look here, we start hand stroke, backstroke. Hand stroke is this point, backstroke is this point, hand stroke, backstroke. So our up dodges, the hand stroke is higher and the back stroke is lower. And then here's a down dodge. So this is a hand stroke, this is a back stroke. The down dodges, the hand stroke is lower and the back stroke is higher. There are some methods where this isn't the case. If you think Grancer, it's the other way around, and Stedman, it's the other way around. That's because they're on 7. But in this method, all the dodges are right. The other tip or suggestion that I can think of is that when you're at the back, so this is the line for the 6, you always dodge with your core spells in Cambridge at the back and only at the back. So one of the 6th place core spells is the 4. You see we're dodging with the 4 here, and then the other one is the 5. So it's core spells for the 6, the 4, and the 5. You can see that our dodges there are with the 4 and the 5. You can see this dodge here that happens over the lead end. The 4 is with the 2. Now the 4's core spells are 2 and 6, and then likewise the 5 is core spells are 6 and 3. The 5 here is dodging with the 3, and the 5 here is dodging with the 6. So all the core spells, all the dodges at the back will be with your core spell, unless you're with the treble. And then finally, another core spell related one. So we're looking at 6 place spell, and the 6 here, the first dodge of its places, which so happens to be at the half lead, that dodge is with your core spell, and then the second time you meet your core spell in your places is this point here, when your core spell goes through your places. So you're transitioning between your 4ths and your 3rds, and your core spell comes through there. And then another tip is just to ring it lots. I think the more practice you get, the better it'll go. All right. So I put this little table together about bobs and singles. I'm sure when you start learning Cambridge, bobs and singles won't be at the forefront of your mind. You'll be learning the method, but it's good to think about bobs and singles, and I'm sure you'll get told that they're just the same as plain bob, which everyone can do. So why bother learning anything? But it's good to know what you're doing. So for bobs, people aren't wrong. What you're doing is exactly the same, but because the method is maybe more complex, it's difficult to think about it in the same way. So if your 5th place spell, which is this orange line here, you're doing the end of your front work. So you've just done your dodge, lead, dodge, seconds. This is the lead and the final dodge. And what you would do is you would make seconds. So you're about to make seconds, but someone will call a bob here. And what that means is you're going to run out. So just like in plain bob minor, you're going to run out if you're about to make seconds. But instead, so you run out and you become 3rd space spell. So you can see here, the orange line is now 3rd space spell, and it goes right out of the back and dodges. So that's that one. We then have this this blue line, which is the line of the third space spell, and that one is coming down. It's just done its dodges on the back. It's double dodge down. It's coming down, and it would be about to do a 3/4 down dodge here. But around this point, someone's going to say bob, which means you don't do the dodge and you run in. That's this one. And you become 2nd space spell. So you can see at this position here, the blue line is in 2nd place. So it becomes 2nd space spell. And that's why it's good to know those place spells, because you think, oh, 2nd space spell, where does that stop? If you're thinking that, then you're too late. You've already gone wrong. So you need to know second space bell. Oh, dodge lead second, dodge lead dodge. And then finally we have this purple line, which is doing those places. So it's just done dodge, place, place, dodge, place, place, and it's about to do its final dodge and become third space bell, which is this 3-4 up dodge. It's going to do the 3-4 up dodge here, but instead it makes the bob. So that means it makes fourths, and then it becomes fourth space bell. And I think this is a little bit, this is where it gets a bit tricky. So the fourth space bell, you've just done your places, you make a place, and then fourth space bell starts with the places again. So you keep doing places. So in effect, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places in a row, and then dodge with the treble. But if you think about it like that, you just keep making places until you get back to the treble, and then you do the rest of your game. And now singles are a little bit easier because only 2 bells are affected. So you can see here, fifth space bell, yep, doing its front work, dodge with the treble. Someone will say single, it makes seconds as you would in a single, and then it's second space bell, which is what it was going to do anyway. So that one's not affected. The ones at the back, I should have said this for the bob. If you're in 5-6, you're not affected. So you do 5-6 dodges, and then the one that's the same as the bob is 6 space bell. So you're about to do your 3-4 up dodge, but in effect you do your make the single. So you do your fourths, and you keep doing the places until you get the treble. And then finally, the one that always catches me out is when you're making the single from thirds, you just repeat third space bell. So if you've done your double dodging at the back after dodging with the treble, double dodge 5-6 down, you're coming down, someone would say single, you're about to do 3-4 down dodge, which would put you here, but instead you make thirds and then you're back into third place. So then you repeat third space bell, which is out to the back, and then doing your double dodging in 5-6, and then you dodge with the treble. All right, that's bobs and singles. That's what I want to say about Cambridge. But there are other surprise methods. I don't want to really talk about these too much. I just want to say that you can see, obviously, the treble is doing its treble bob hunting, and Norwich, I quite like Norwich. It's got some nice features, such as the second always stays on the front and does stuff with its core spell. Fifth space bell and sixth space bell do these nice triple dodges, and then yeah, triple dodging here as well. And again, they're with the same bell, so I quite like that. And you'll see in the first lead here, you get 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5. You get a lot of that going on. So that's quite nice. And then the next one I wanted to just briefly touch on is, I think, my favorite surprise minor method. But there are lots of them and I haven't run them all, so it's hard to say it's my favorite. But we have this brilliant fourth space bell, which does some places, dodges, and then just keeps making places, and then dodges again, and then some more places, and then it dodges again. But I think this is just sublime. And then we have lots of dodging on the front. This 5-pull dodge. Anyway. But that's,
Richard,
yeah.
If I've already learned Cambridge Minor, are there any features of Born that I could recognize as Cambridge features?
Yeah, excellent question. Definitely. So if you've already learned Cambridge, fourth space bell, we know the Cambridge places from the fourth space bell are thirds, fourths, dodge with the treble. So you have thirds, fourths, dodge with the treble. We would then in Cambridge do our thirds, fourths, and then dodge again. Whereas in Born, we do thirds, fourths, and then we do something a little bit different here. We don't dodge, we just make thirds, and then we repeat that bit, right? But backwards. So we do our places, and this is our what would be the 6-player spell, where we do our places up. So we do place, place, dodge, place, place, dodge. Another thing we can see is third space spell starts the same. So third space spell goes out the back, double dodges, lies and dodges with the treble. And the same thing is true for fifth space spell. Fifth space spell starts the same by lying and then double dodging, which is what it would do in Cambridge. And I think what James was alluding to is that Born is Cambridge above. And what that means is that if you're above the treble, then all the work in Born, so this kind of sector here that I'm drawing out with the laser, all this part in every play spell is the same as Cambridge. So what that means is for all the bells apart from the 2, the start is the same. Except for the 2, it is the same because you do and then make seconds. But yeah. But yeah, that's where I kind of finish. But if you've got any questions about Cambridge or I don't know, surprise ringing in general, now's the time. Oh, everyone's asleep.
Well, I guess if I could add in, Cambridge is so, I mean, it is very fundamental, as Richard already said. And so pretty much everything you ever learn beyond Cambridge uses bits of Cambridge. Like even just with Born, you just saw it. And not so much with Norwich, but it's amazing how much sort of Cambridge front work comes up or Cambridge places comes up. They're just always there in sort of different patches. And so once you've learned those sort of chunks of work, as Richard was referring to them as, you'll never really forget them, and you'll always be using them forever. So yeah.
One thing I didn't mention was extending to major and above. Once you've done Cambridge minor, there is a rope sight challenge to overcome with major, but the method learning I think is already there. As James and I said before, you've got those blocks. Maybe if I just bring up Cambridge surprise major. This one. Yeah. So this is Cambridge surprise major, and you can see the second is the same, starts the same. It does dodgy seconds, dodgy dodge. The 3, which is our pivot bell, it gets out to the back end, does the double dodge, and then with dodge with the treble, and then backwards. But the 3 has to do a dodge in 5/6 on the way there. The 4, which is this one, starts the same with the Cambridge places, then dodge and lead. So up to this point, it's pretty much the same as minor. Sorry, so I can see it. So the 4, we do our places down, we do some dodging, do some more dodging, then we do 5/6 places down, and then some more dodging. So you can start generating rules like places, dodge 2, miss 2 in the middle, and then dodge 2, and then places, dodge 2, miss this one, miss that one, dodge another 2, and then we can develop the method that way. So yeah, once you got those blocks in place, I think you've then fully learned how to learn a method. That's what I think about it. And then extending the method learning to 8 bells isn't so difficult. Learning new methods isn't so difficult. So yeah, I think Cambridge is fundamental in developing that skill.
I found that when I first started in Cambridge major, I had a lot of problems with the 5/6 dodges because they were so long. But when I rang Yorkshire, I didn't have a problem, and that made my Cambridge much better. I found, but it was just the 5/6 dodges because they were so long.
Yeah, and I think with the 5/6, they're the same length as the 3/4, but they're that step above, and so you've got more bells beneath you, so it's harder to kind of see where you are just instantly. See 2 bells below you or 3 bells below you. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope that was useful. I'm gonna stop it.